Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. For tonight's dinner, we're gonna prepare 3 dishes. One soup called chole mash and one main dish, which is a stew called Fesenjon. We serve it with white rice, polo, and we have a very delicious dessert. It's a milk-based dessert. It's made usually in Ramadan, mostly in Ramadan. So we're gonna start with our soup. Okay, for our soup, we need to put some, we have to chop some onions and put it first in the pot and stir it until it's, stir it for 5 minutes until it's golden, light gold brown. Then we add our lentils and mung beans that we already soaked for 1 hour. And we have also to add rice. So we have rice, mung beans, and lentils. We have to soak them for 1 hour. And then we add it to the onions that we already fried. Then we're gonna add our chicken stock that we prepared ahead of time. And that's how much we need. And we're gonna add a dash of black pepper and salt and some turmeric. Actually, we need some more salt, so we're gonna add more salt. And also we have to add a bit of cumin. And that's it. We're gonna raise the heat, and it has to be on medium high until it boils, and then we're gonna reduce the heat and continue cooking it for 1 hour until the lentil, mung bean, and rice are fully cooked and almost mushed away. So we're gonna put the lid on and leave it until it boils. When it boils, we're gonna reduce the heat to medium low and let it simmer for 1 hour. Okay, this came to a boil, so we're gonna reduce the heat. We're gonna put it over low heat here. Okay, so we're gonna add some vegetable oil to our pot, and we need lots of it just to fry the onion. We have to slice the onion, and then we're gonna fry them in the oil until they're dark brown. We need it for garnishing our soup. So we're gonna chop off our chili, thinly slice the chili, and we're gonna add it to the soup, but this is optional. You can just leave it away if you don't like spicy food. You can use red chili, just chili flakes, anything works, but I like these green chilies. They smell and taste better. And we're gonna also chop some garlic, maybe 2 cloves of garlic will do. And also for this soup, we need 1 lime. So we'll just put the chili aside. We're gonna squish down this, get rid of the skin, and thinly slice our garlic. And okay, and we're just gonna cut the lime so we can add it to the soup when it's ready. Okay, so you can see how the onions changed color and they're beautiful and brown. So we're gonna take away all the onions and just put them aside, and fry some garlic and also some chilies to add to our soup. So I've chopped some garlic and some chilies. I'm just gonna add them to the hot oil. Just gonna slightly fry them until they're lightly gold. And meanwhile, we're gonna add some lemon juice, some lime juice or lemon juice, whatever you have, to the pot. Now our chili and the garlic is ready. We're just gonna take it off the oil and put it on a plate. We're gonna use it for garnish, and we're gonna use the same pot and the same oil. And we're just gonna add some cumin to this hot oil. And we're just gonna quickly stir. We'll turn off the heat, and we're just gonna slowly pour this in. This will give all the cumin flavor and the garlic and the onion flavor to the soup. Give it a good stir, and our soup is ready. Here's our soup ready to be served with garlic, chili peppers, and fried onions. And we're gonna start with our stew for tonight, which is Fesenjon. So we're gonna get the pot, and we have to add some oil. And we have to raise the heat. It has to be like over medium-high heat. And we're gonna use our chopped onions. And we have to stir it until it's light golden brown. And then we have to add our chicken. And raise the heat. So for this dish, we have the onions, the chickens. For a family of 4, 2 chicken breasts will be enough, and maybe 2 drumsticks or 3. It depends on basically like what type of chicken, which part of the chicken you like. And we have to prepare our walnut paste, which is, you can prepare it by grinding the walnuts with a bit of very hot boiling water. You grind it until it becomes like a paste, just like this. And when the chickens are fried, we're gonna add our chickens all at once, and we're gonna let them change color and become white. And then we're gonna add our spices and our walnut paste. So now the chickens, as you can see, have changed color. They're not pink anymore. So now it's the time to add our spices. which are very basic. We're gonna use some salt, and we're gonna add some turmeric, and we use lots of turmeric in the Persian kitchen. And we're gonna add just a dash of black pepper or white pepper, anything, just to make it more flavorful. We're gonna reduce the heat to medium low, and we're gonna cover the pot only like for 10 minutes, just so the chicken starts cooking, and it reduces down and gets fried properly and becomes golden. Okay, so now as you can see, the chicken is fried and it's golden. So now it's the time to add our walnut paste. We're gonna add our walnut paste, and we're gonna add a dash of saffron at this stage, and we're gonna add our water. So we're just gonna give it a quick stir. And cover it back again, and we're gonna add some water. So we're gonna add enough water just to cover the chickens, and we're gonna keep it simmering for about 1 hour, until the chickens are cooked and the walnut paste is also incorporated with the water. Okay, so it's been 40 minutes now. Our stew is almost ready. We just have to do one more step, and that is adding like the pomegranate paste. We have to add lots of pomegranate paste for the stew. We're gonna give it a good stir just to blend in the pomegranate paste, because we have to make sure this stew has to change color from the yellowish color that you see from the saffron. It has to become a light brown, medium brown color, light to medium brown color. And this stew is sort of sweet and sour because of the pomegranate paste, and you still can add some more sugar to it if you like it a bit more sweet than sour. So after you add the pomegranate paste, you let it simmer over medium heat for 10 to 15 minutes, just to make sure that everything gets incorporated, the pomegranate paste with the stock from the chicken and the walnut paste that we added at the beginning. And then we're good to serve it. Okay, so as you can see, the stew changed color. It's very nice medium brown color now. So I removed the lid. I'll let it just simmer, so just the stock or the sauce gets a bit thicker, and then our stew will be ready to serve. So we're gonna serve our stew. Just plate the chicken pieces first, and then we're gonna add sauce to it. Okay, So we have a pot of salted boiling water here. We're gonna cook our rice that we're gonna serve with the stew. So we have rice that we already soaked in water for 20 minutes, half an hour. We're just gonna dip everything in the water and we're gonna bring it to a boil, and then we're gonna reduce the heat and let it simmer for 5 minutes, and then we're gonna strain it. So the rice is properly cooked now, so we're gonna strain it and get rid of the water. We're just gonna quickly wash the bottom and use that water, the cold water. It helps the rice to get fluffier when you add some cold water to it. We're gonna add some water at the base of the pot and we put it on the stove, and we have to add some oil, any oil, vegetable oil or anything. So I'm gonna use some ghee here, butter ghee, because it makes the rice smell better. And now we're gonna give the rice a good shake to make sure there's no excess water, and I'm gonna move it to my pot. I still have to wait a bit for my pot. I have to bring the water that I have at the bottom to a good boil. And also a twist on preparing the rice, you can add just a pinch of saffron to that water and oil that you have at the bottom. That makes the crust at the bottom of the rice very crunchy and saffrony and flavorful. So the water is almost boiling. We're gonna add the rice. And we have to collect all the rice at the center. Make sure like it's not flat, it has to shape a dome to make a steam at the center. And then with the back of your spoon, just make few holes in the rice and just cover the pot. And you have to reduce the heat from high to medium high, just until it starts steaming. You can see the steam is coming from everywhere, like around the lid. Then we have to reduce it to low and just let it steam off. Okay, so now as you can see, like there is some steam coming from all sides of the lid. We're gonna remove the lid and put it on a clean kitchen towel or any piece of fabric that it's clean. Just wrap it properly and put it on the lid, and you have to reduce the heat to medium low, to a lowest side of the medium low. So and just let it steam for at least 20 minutes. 20 minutes up to 1 hour you can steam it, and it depends on how much you put it to steam, the crunchier the base will be. Okay, so to prepare our saffron for the rice, to garnish the rice with it, every time you need saffron for the rice, this is how you have to brew it. So you just get some boiling hot water, and maybe about 1/3 a cup is just enough. And then you need to add 1/8 teaspoon, 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground saffron to it, and just a dash of rose water just to make it smell lovely. Just a really teensy bit of rose water. And then, most important thing, for the saffron to get brewed, we need to cover it with a plastic wrap. And we have to leave it for 5 to 10 minutes. You can brew it for a longer time, but 10 minutes will do. Okay, so now the rice is cooked. We're just gonna remove the lid, and we're gonna drizzle like maybe about 2 to 3 tablespoons of butter or butter, ghee, or even you can add simple vegetable oil. And we're gonna fluff the rice just to make sure everything gets incorporated with that beautiful butter that we added to it. And there we go, the rice is ready. We're just gonna scoop out maybe about 1 big spoon of rice and add it to the saffron that we brewed before, and just give it a stir just to make our saffron rice. See how beautiful and orange it is. And we're just gonna put it aside and then plate the rice and garnish it with the saffron rice. Okay, so here we have our rice garnished with the saffron rice, and here is our stew, Fesenjon, and here is the crust from the bottom of the pot. And as you can see, it's very crunchy and delicious. So for dessert, we're going to prepare yakh dar behesht, and yakh dar behesht, as we said, it's a milk-based dessert, and it has cornstarch, and it has rice flour and sugar and rose water. So it's very simple, but it's very delicious, and it's really good for Ramadan. So I'm gonna go get my milk. Okay, so let's put the milk here, and I've already measured 2 cups of water here, and I'm gonna add half cup of cornstarch. So we're gonna measure about half cup of cornstarch. It doesn't have to be very accurate. This is not baking, so it's just a dessert, so we don't have to be very accurate with measuring our ingredients, but roughly half cup. And we have to whisk it until we make sure like the starch is fully dissolved in the water. And then we're gonna add, yeah, so it's completely dissolved. We're gonna add our milk. It's also 2 cups of milk we have here. And to add to that, we're gonna add half cup of rice flour. And it smells really nice. You have to get a good quality rice flour. It makes a big difference. And you can also prepare your own rice flour. You can just get a good quality jasmine rice and dry grind it until you get a very fine flour. So we're gonna also stir this until it gets incorporated, and then we're gonna head back to our stove to cook this dessert until it's thick. Then we're gonna add our sugar and our rose water to it, and then it will be ready to serve. So now we brought our mixture of the cornstarch, rice flour, water, and milk, and we're gonna place it over medium-high heat. We don't want much heat. We don't want to burn the dessert. So we're gonna stir it continuously, otherwise you'll get like clots in it. So to avoid that and get a very velvety dessert, you need to keep stirring it until it comes to a boil. So basically it takes 20 minutes maybe or so. So you bring it to a boil, to a slow boil, and then with continuous mixing, then we will add the sugar and the rose water. So our yakh dar behisht is almost ready. So now we need to add the sugar to it, and as you can see, it became like very thick and velvety. So we're gonna add half cup. We're gonna add some sugar to it, about 1.5 cups. So this is for the sugar, and you have to give it a good stir just to make sure the sugar dissolves in the dessert. And then we need to add some rose water. And you can smell the beautiful smell of the rose water. That's it. And we're just gonna cook it for 5 more minutes just to make sure the sugar is dissolved and the rose water, it's incorporated in the dessert with the milk and starch and rice flour and everything. We can switch to a spoon. We don't need the whisk anymore. And continue stirring it just to make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. So as you can see, it's very thick and velvety. We're just about there. So we're gonna turn off the heat and we're ready to plate. So we're gonna just pour the yakh dar behisht in a deep dish and let it cool for an hour. Then we have to put it in the fridge to cool down for 2 to 3 hours. And the longer it stays in the fridge, the better, because it has to be cold. Use my cookbook Authentic Iran, explore Iran's culture, and learn how to cook more than 100 of Iran's delightful recipes. Get your copy on Amazon or on express.com.